Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Part-Time Theories, the channel that is 50% tier list videos and 50% theories. Now, you might be thinking that's true, but if you're watching this video, that means I have 5 videos now. So, there. So, today Barrel's Warhammer aired, and that's really the only thing I care about. Now, don't get me wrong, the 7th Temple was good, it didn't match the first temple. Like, it was a good episode. It did a good job. I think it was a really smart thing for the trials being outside the temple. Definitely saves a lot of time, you know? A smart move from Matt Brawley and the writers and the creators. But I like Barrel's Warhammer more. Now, today's topic is in a new format because I loved Barrel's Warhammer. It's my new favorite episode, I'd say, of the entire series. I don't know if the third temple could even top it. I have high expectations for True Colors, but I don't know if they can outmatch this, honestly. But today's video is going to be divided into the following points: Sasha and how she interacts with other characters, lore and, well, basically, yeah, lore, or the events important to the story in this episode, basically. And, well, the Second Temple. The Second Temple is its own thing because, one, I felt like even though it was a good episode, I don't think it's, amazing. It wasn't as good as the first, which is normal because the first was a 22-minute episode, and this time they were really scrapped for time, so yeah. There's always in a really creative way, though, like Valeriana being the one who holds the trials. And, well, without further ado, let's get into Sasha, her differences from season 1 Sasha, and how Anne and Marcy, or more specifically, her jealousy of Anne and Marcy, is probably her greatest weakness. So in this episode, we rejoin Sasha and Grime, something we didn't expect when we first got the titles, but we definitely thought it would be earlier, like a week earlier, literally. Really, they really took us for a role with that title, Toad to Redemption. But moving forward, Sasha's definitely a lot more kind than she was in Toadcatcher, at least with the toe. It's like she actually seems like a good friend and even understanding and supportive, like Sasha. Understanding and supportive, like I never thought this would apply to the Amphibia Sasha this in season 2. Like, when we think of Sasha, we think of toxicity and psychopathy almost, from season 1, of course. And Toadcatcher seems to still reflect that, but in this episode, she's demonstrated that she's changed a bit. It's a bit ironic. Like, she's probably she's one of the villains and has a healthier relationship with the villains with her supposed best friend since childhood. It's quite frankly amazing. And you know, I said in the tier list video that Sasha is my favorite character, and this just pulls her all the way up. Like, this episode just convinces that she's not only my favorite, but one of the best written characters of Amphibia. And you know, another thing that I thought was very interesting was the ending. Like, literally, the ending of Braddock and Percy, like, disconnecting themselves from rebellion. That was really interesting. Like, I definitely didn't expect that, you know, since Braddock and Percy has always been seen as loyal and independent, and Sasha can't even believe it. Like, she's trying to get them to stay and confront them, but Grime stops her, and I'm really starting to realize how Grime is basically the voice of reason in Sasha. Like, yeah, ironically, one of the most insane characters is the one that somehow knows the most about life, you know, like, first in Toadcatcher, he said that Sasha's upset because, you know, she lost Anne. Her relationship with Anne is basically destroyed at this point. No matter how much Anne wants to fix it, her relationship with Sasha will just never be the same, for the worst. And then now he points out that people have their limits and dreams, and I'm really starting to want to know Grimes' past, how he learned these morals and lessons, and like where did he get them? Did he get them from the Colosseum, from his family, whatever? And speaking of family, we finally get to see Grimes' sister, something we didn't expect at all. At least I didn't. Beatrix. So now I'm pretty sure these were the Toad Lords. Aldo, Luke. I don't remember the name of the other guy. I like his voice. And Beatrix and Grime, and well, now Mars. I don't remember the right guy's name, but whatever. Um, yeah, it's definitely interesting how Grime has been basically the voice of reason, and in Sasha, and ironically, he's also the voice of psychopathy. Like really weird. And well, yeah, Sasha is really, really my favorite character at this point by a long shot. Like Marcy, Hop Up don't even compare at this point. And speaking of Marcy, and let's just talk about Sasha's evident flaws. Now, Sasha has flaws as a character, impulsive, a bit egocentric, but in this episode, she seems supportive of Percy and Braddock and even assures them, and what? We never was seeing this in Sasha in the previous episode. Like, she even understands why they left after Grime explains, but yeah, she understands. Sasha understanding, that's like saying, I don't know, that the Blights are good parents. It's that level, in my opinion, at least, like, literally. I don't know how, but Sasha somehow has slowly turned into a better person, being with someone who wants to destroy the king, which, yeah, we know the king is definitely evil, but he doesn't know that. Like, what the hell? But moving on, which onto the next point about Sasha I want to talk about, and how her relationship with Anna Marcy is ironically what's impulsing her psychopathy and pushing people away from her. Her jealousy and want of control of Anna and Marcy is ironically her greatest flaw. Like, you know, she went for Beryl's hammer not because she wants to support crime or something. Well, she does do that for that, but one of her main motivations is to not get behind, to tell the better story, to be the greatest, to be number one to be the last one with the word in a way, to have the greatest adventure, and that motivation of getting the hammer is what pushes Percy and Braddock away, it's what pushes Percy and Braddock away. She promised and supported, and one of the most human scenes of Sasha, which is like incredible. Sasha being human in a scene that's priceless, and their actual like moments with her being human. It's like, wow. Especially the last one where she understands Percy and Braddock's motives after Grimes' explanation. I mean, you could argue that she is always like that, and because Grime explained the motives, but I don't think so. I think if even Anne gave her the motive, she would have changed. She would have still dropped off from that tower. She would have still fought her and still do whatever plan she has in mind. Now, I'm starting to see how Sasha and Grime's relationship is, master-student. So, Grime has basically become Sasha's mentor at this point, not only for training, but for life lessons, and I honestly really want to know how Grime learned them, and I really hope we get an episode of his past. Really do. Hope we do see some episodes of his past. I know this mentioned this again, but I really hope in season 3 we get that, Okay, so moving on to the important stuff, in my opinion. Well, the other stuff is important, and it's the reason I watch the show, but this is also important. The lore. So, in the second temple episode, and thinks she completely charged the stone, but it's really not, you know? Ironically, her heart was the thing that made her rush because she thought Marcy, Sprig, and the Hop-Up and Polly were in trouble. And ironically, it was that heart that made the gem not completely, charged. It's incomplete. It's not at full strength. Now, this could have two implications. One, whatever plan King Andreas has to use the gems is going to fail because the blue gem isn't completely charged. It's at maximum. It's at maximum 80%. I think what I can see, and well, yeah. And we also see Anne's power drain from her eyes, but since the gem is not completely charged, I feel like Anne's power could still be a bit of embers, like the embers All Might has when he transfers his quirk to Deku in My Hero Academia. Obviously not as powerful as those embers, but definitely some, particles of them. And they could come in clutch in like the final moments of true colors. And the other lore important stuff, we also got to see the Toad Lords, which I mentioned previously. And, this kind of was hinted at when Yunin said the Toad Lords were meeting. Now we know they refer to the Tower Toads, And, yeah, other than that, Sasha's eyes glue, pink for, at long last. People have been theorizing about Power Within since season 1, episode 1, like literally. And now we finally get Sasha doing it. Like we knew that she had it for like the longest time. And we have to wait like at least half the series because remember, Amphibia's only lasting for like at least 2 parts, I mean, sorry, 3. Amphibia only has 3 parts, and we had to wait over halfway point to see Sasha's power finally unfolding. Definitely an interesting thing, And well, other than that, the gem is not fully charged. We met the total, or Sasha finally used her power. We knew a bit about Valeriana's, past and motives and the gems. We didn't really get an origin for the gems, which I thought would be what happens with Valeriana. I thought we would get the origins of the gems, but no, she just kind of explains the order and everything that she's done. And for lore, that's kind of it, honestly. We didn't get much lore and important events in this episode. I mean, oh yeah, of course. I'm kind of dumb, and well, Grime has an army, which he'll obviously use, and will not be that useful against Gerald Yunnan. We see it in the trailer, And, well, other than that, well, Sasha has awoken her power as we know for as long as we know the first time. Grime has an army and the forces necessary to destroy the king, or we think he does. The king still has that 39 monster in his basement, which someone said it looked like a boss from Chrono Trigger. Definitely interesting. One of the comments, the only comment in one of my on the video of King Andreas and in the end in the first temple, the being someone mentioned, hey, that looks like one boss from Chrono Trigger. And well, that's for lore. Again, definitely important lore and events happen in this episode, but not much, Now let's move on to the next point. The second temple. Okay, so Second temple is obviously a lot shorter than the first temple. They had to cover half a segment, and in my opinion, they did a pretty good job at making, the trials outside the temple. It definitely saves time, and they were definitely interesting, and the most minimum. We didn't get any lore at all. It's really we didn't get lore because we weren't in the temple. There was no image of the giant toad. We only really had the giant arc thing. But other than that, nothing. And of course, the second temple wasn't as packed with character development as the first temple was. And I think I know why. One, it's a shorter episode. That's a logical way out. And two, I already had character development in season one and a bit of season two. And I feel like something similar happened with Sasha, where the temple will push that final stretch to be, the better person, which, as I mentioned and talked about for like 7 minutes, she already has becoming more more supportive friend and a better person in general. So yeah, not much words for the second temple, really. It's really just there wasn't as much lore as with the first temple. Then again, I barely talk about the first temple because it had the final scene with King Andreas. It had a really big ending. You know the jet. It's been a really weird thing doing this video because I had to talk about character development and what I think about it. It's been really weird because I don't know. I'm not as good as analyzing character development as I am with creating theories. I work with vague, loose plot threads that could end up in something, and I elaborate the theory about it. That's how my first video about Frick's pairings worked out. We didn't see the body. Is then again, I don't think there were bodies. Again, helitrolls devour flesh. And I kept calling them helitrolls. They're called herons. I sound like a fool in that video. Oh, they're called herons. Well, I think I definitely need to practice with this style of recording, analyzing character development combined with theories. It's definitely a lot more complicated than just recording my screen and talking about it. So, and yeah, I definitely need to improve the style. I'll obviously keep doing that because it's fast video and it's easier to make, and I kind of enjoy doing them, like the tier list. I enjoyed doing this video, but I've interrupted a few times, and it's really complicated because I have to restart the recording. Well, I had to restart it once, and you might have heard a door. I don't know. Maybe I'll edit that out. You might have heard the door open in one segment. It was just someone bringing me a cupcake. But other than that, thanks for watching this video. Consider subscribing. I try to do weekly videos. This will probably be my longest video. I don't think I'll do anything similar until True Colors, unless the third temple has something incredible to analyze. And then again, I just did this because I love Barrel's Warhammer. I said before, it's my favorite episode. And other than that, well, thank you for watching. Bye. This has been Part-Time Theories. Kind of this theories part-time. That's really all I do. I do part-time theories. That's how the name of the channel is. I do theories part-time. The other time, I kind of wasted it. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.